Whoops. Hey friends, it's me, Micah. This is the Homestead Bandwagon, and this is a bad boy lawnmower, the bad boy E-Magnum. This is a battery-powered mower. I, like many others, have poo-pooed or eschewed or just otherwise avoided battery-powered mowers for a lot of reasons. But I'm going to test this one out. I borrowed it from work. I don't know if anybody knows I borrowed it, so I'm going to test it out today. I'm going to run over some grapevines and sticks, some wet, muddy grass, go up some hills, go down some hills, and then recharge the thing and see how much life we can get out of a full battery, how much mowing time we can really get with this thing in a real-world scenario with a full set of batteries. Let's just get into it. Boy, this poor mower. And I'm going to try to get it back to work before they know I'm gone. So I'm at the top height. Let's run over these grapevines. I'll lower the deck down a bit. Okay, there we go. I figured out how to kill it. So we have to turn the blades off. Let's raise it up a little bit, so it's not just dragging on the ground. And try this pile again. Okay, so we found some limitations for sure. It ground up most of the sticks and grapevines pretty good here. I ran over this area about one time at a 4 and then at a 2, and there's still stuff left, but that's to be expected. But a lot of this stuff got mulched up pretty good. So we're not doing too terrible. There is certainly some limitations there. You can tell this isn't as powerful as a gas mower. It bogs down, but it does have a safety on it where when it senses that bogging, it'll actually turn off the blades and give you a little warning on the screen. So that's kind of cool. At least you know something's gone wrong. I'm really surprised at how quiet it is even with the blades going. You can really hear everything that's going on around you. So I like that if the dog's running around or the kids. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take a pass at the highest blade speed, then the middle blade speed, and then the lowest blade speed, and just see what the difference is in how it cuts this grass. Now, the grass might not look that bad, but it is very thick, very dense, very wet. You know, it hasn't been mowed since last summer. So I'm going to make just 3 test strips and just see if we can tell the difference in the cut quality. Okay, this outside strip, I'll just mow at full blade speed, 1, 2, 3, on speed level 1, because I don't need to go too fast through here. And I'll have this thing mowing at a 2.5, pretty low. So we're gonna really test to see if this thing will clog up, and I have the discharge chute closed. So being extra safe. Now the blades won't spin, it's too thick. Let's get it up to a 3, see if it'll spin. There we go. I ran over a molehill there, which killed the blades. All right, test strip 2. It'd be nice if I had a molehill to run over here, but I don't. At blade speed 2. And the blades are way quieter on that level too. All right, now will be blade speed 1 at a 3.0 cut. and I'll mow over this molehill. So, blade speed test. Speed 3, speed 2, speed 1. Mowing this thing down to a level 3, so pretty tall, thick grass here. It mowed at all 3 speeds in this wet, thick grass. It may have thrown the grass a little less far on blade speed 1. It was certainly quieter on blade speed 1, which we'd expect because it wasn't spinning as fast. But overall, I don't really notice a difference in anything. Something I'm noticing is the handling on this thing. I had originally tested one out October of this year and was impressed with how responsive the sticks were. I've done some of these battery machines, and when you push your control levers, there'd be a delay before the machine would start moving, or a big dead spot. This one's pretty responsive. There is a slight delay to it. And so if you're making a hard corner and you want to stop, it takes it a sec for it to go, oh, you're stopping? So that's something to consider. Now, zero turn overall can get a little sloppy like that anyway, but the batteries have the motors have a real slight delay to them. Not much though. I mean, I'm kind of getting the hang of it as I go. But yeah, if you're going full speed and then suddenly stop, yeah, if you pull the bars back, you drift forward a few inches before the wheels change direction, I feel like. Okay, so yeah, you got to get used to this kind of fly-by-wire, a little bit of a delay between your hands and your wheels, so you got to plan ahead a little bit. Now, this isn't the biggest hill anybody's tried to traverse, but it's still telling, you know, how this thing can navigate hillsides, which are always kind of the Achilles heel of a zero-turn mower. And plenty of power to get up it, so there's no problem there. There's a lot of bumps on this hill. Oh boy, that's actually not too bad. Believe it or not, with this hill, as steep as it is, it's about a 15-degree slope, maybe 20. I've had a lot of zero turns that have really struggled with it. Now there's a suspension on the front end of this mower. I'm not really seeing it moving. So I don't know if we just need to adjust it or what, but I don't really see the suspension doing anything. That's getting a little steep there. front wheels lost contact with the ground going up it. Coming down, you should be safe. That's the steepest part of the hill right there. That's about a 30-degree slope at least. So yeah, going up steep hills, you got a lot of, most of your weight's in the back of the machine. It's actually pretty well balanced feeling overall. But you could certainly pop a wheelie if you wanted. Oh, only lost contact with one wheel on that pass. Okay, let's go do some more mowing here after I do this hill climb. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Okay, let's talk about a couple features on this thing before I do the big mow time test. First and foremost, this thing has no belts, right? It's a battery-powered machine, which means that it's got little electric motors on it that spin your blades with no belt. So just a couple controllers in here. And so if you ever blow out your spindle, I think you have to replace your motor too. So this whole unit would come out. You just unplug it, put a new one in, and you're done. So no belts to smoke, which is kind of nice if you're like me, running over sticks and stuff. And of course you can see it's real easy to get into these, like all bad boy mowers. I like that. So that's kind of cool. Let's turn off the battery. I like that it's got a regular key. That's nice, not having a button to push or key thing to lose. This is just a regular old mower key, so you can get these anywhere. Blades on off, that's normal. This touch screen's pretty cool. The touch screen shows you obviously how much battery you have. You can change your blade speed, change your ground speed from the touchpad, turn your headlights on the front on and off. And then there's some menu screens where it'll tell you if you've got errors. So if you've got a blown out spindle motor, it'll tell you that. So that's pretty neat. It's all just kind of all inclusive there. Now, as far as the battery situation goes, this thing runs kind of like a modular battery system in this tray. So it comes with 4. You can buy 2 more. They're not cheap. And each individual battery has its own little battery charge meter built into it. Now, from my memory, these are Greenworks batteries. They work all together at the same time, so they all discharge at the same time. But you could take this battery out, charge it individually, or put it in a bad boy battery-powered hand tools machine thing, like a weed whacker, and then put it back here and keep mowing. So it's kind of a cool idea, having this modular battery system. You could buy a bunch of batteries and just be charging as you're mowing. It is a possibility. It's just spendy to do it because batteries are expensive right now. Cool little storage thing here. I like that. If you don't want to pull these out and charge them with a charger, you can just plug this thing in, which I'm going to be doing in a little bit here. But I got to go back to work and pick up the charger because I forgot it. So I'm going to drive all the way back to town to come back here to recharge this to mow some more. It is what it is. A little power outlet here with a couple USB outlets, USB-A. That's your height control like on any bad boy mower will have. But overall, this kind of follows the theme of a lot of bad boy stuff where you can get to everything. Everything's pretty accessible, easy to get to, and it doesn't seem overly complicated. You know, maybe changing out these transmission motors might be a pain in the neck, but other than that, not bad. These Reaper tires, I really like these. These get really great traction in the mud. These bad boy mowers all run really thick, heavy-duty decks. This is no exception. This Magnum deck is certainly very thick metal with a couple anti-scalp rollers on the front. They limit you to a 42-inch on these things, so if you want bigger than that, too bad. Grease spots here. This is what your deck's floating on here is these guys, so you can grease those. This front suspension, the jury's kind of out for me on that one. It's these little rubber pucks. They're supposed to eat up some of the vibration and harshness on the front end. I don't see them doing much, but maybe that doesn't matter. Maybe they just work a little bit. I don't really see them moving much, but maybe it's a gimmick, maybe it's real. I don't know. Seats fairly comfortable. It has armrests, which I don't know why you'd have armrests while you have a zero turn with lap bars, but whatever. And these handlebars, these are nice. I like that these are square. And they kind of look cool too. Look at this. Bad boy in that blue writing. That looks kind of cool. I like they're using blue instead of green for their electric machine. That's cool. So yeah, a couple little storage things for your cold snacks and for your keys or your cell phone or whatever. Okay, so far it feels like a regular mower. And even though it's got the electrical components, it feels like it's not too much of a pain in the butt. You know, being able to change those batteries out at will, that's really nice, not having a built-in battery system. It probably impacts your runtime, but we're gonna find out on that. I'm gonna go all the way back to town, grab the charger, come back, put this thing on a full charge, and then run around here and see how much mow time I get. I think I'm gonna mow the whole property at blade speed level 1. Let's see the max mow time we can get out of this thing. Let's do it. All right, I went back to town and grabbed the charger. So this charger, pretty long cords on it, 6 or 7, maybe 8 feet long. It's kind of a hulking beast. It's a pretty big guy. And I think they make it so you can mount to the wall of your garage, or in this case, barn, and then a little holder thing on the bottom to hold on to the wires and whatnot. Regular 110 outlet, and no ground even. You just plug it in, so that's interesting. And then this is the charger port, so certainly proprietary to this machine. Now you can't charge the battery separately with this setup. You would have to buy one of those single battery chargers, because it would be kind of neat to have a set of batteries on charge while you're out there mowing. You could really extend your life. So I guess if you bought some of the bad boy electric hand tools, like the blower or the weed whacker or the chainsaw, I guess you'd probably have a single charger, and so at least you could charge one battery at a time. My understanding is these batteries are made by Greenworks. I'm not sure if the Greenworks batteries are directly compatible, but I wouldn't be surprised if they are. In reality, the world of battery systems is pretty small, with a couple manufacturers making batteries for everybody else. So I'm going to plug this into the wall. It's got 80% battery right now. So we'll see how long it takes to get from 80 to 100. From that, we can kind of figure out how long it would take to get a full charge. And then I'm going to mow this place and see how long this thing will last on a single charge. Okay, so now the screen comes on telling you this thing's charging. At least it did for a sec there. There we go. Shows you how much charge you have on each battery. Now this says 75%, not 80. And then when you open this up, you can see that your batteries are charging as well. So these are 80 volt batteries. I'm not sure how many amp hours are on them, 8 amp hours each. So these are big boy batteries. So we're gonna let this thing charge and then go out and do some more mowing. Okay, this is really surprising. It's only been about 30 minutes and this thing's at 99%. So that's pretty fast. I thought it would take at least an hour to charge those. So if they were at 0%, you know, it'd probably take what, 2 hours to charge these things back to 100? That's really not bad. That's, you know, go eat some lunch and putter around a bit, maybe do some weed whacking, and then get back to mowing. So I'm gonna let this get its last little 1%. It's just about there, and then we'll do a total mow time test. Okay, you know that phrase, a watched pot never boils? I came out here about 10 minutes ago and all the batteries were at 99%. Figured, okay, we're almost ready to mow. Put the dog away, got some stuff ready. Okay, let's go out and do this mowing. I come back and one of the batteries was at 100. Okay, a couple more minutes, right? And now, I don't know if you can see, they're all back to 99%. So I think this might have one of those smart battery charging systems which makes sure it doesn't just blast them to 100, which can like wear the batteries down over time. So this might just sit at 99% and just barely give them a trickle till they get to 100. And I'm burning daylight here. This is the only nice day we're going to have for the rest of the next couple weeks. So at 99%, I'm going to see how much mowing I can get done in this place. Just starting up front and working my way towards back. We've got 4 acres here we could mow. It probably won't mow all 4 acres, but I'll put it at the lowest blade speed. I want to really test this thing. Run it at the lowest blade speed and just see how much real mowing efficiency we can get here. Okay, well now that I put the key in, it says 100%. So we'll just take its word for it. Yeah, 100 on all. Okay, I got way more mowed than I thought I would out here. So let's just walk through it. It was about an hour and 15 minutes worth of mowing. And then when the blades shut off after almost exactly an hour and 15 minutes, you still had 5% battery. I drove around way out back, way back in, drove around for 10 minutes. I still had 3 or 4% left. So this thing definitely makes sure you're not getting stranded. Let's see what all we mowed. So we did the whole front yard area, and boy, there is some mud out here. We get this whole area done, even despite the mud. Now this thing's Achilles heel was certainly molehills and piles of sticks, of which there is a lot. We had already done this tiny little section here, but then I mowed over yonder. So this is not a small area to mow. So from here, we mowed this area right here. We mowed up here. We mowed up on this hill. We seriously got a lot of mowing done here. I was really surprised. You know, where the grass got a little thicker, like right now I'm up on our drain field. The grass got a little thicker. It could struggle a little bit. So I was running on the slowest blade speed, trying to conserve battery. I was trying to go the fastest speed, but it wasn't possible. It was bumping me around too much. And when I was going too fast into the really thick grass, it bogged out. And the thing did bog out quite a bit. And when it bogs out, the blades just quit. You got to turn them off, turn them back on. So when I ran over a molehill, blades would stop. Ran over sticks, blades would stop. Too thick of grass, blades would stop. So the blades would stop at a spot where you'd normally probably be smoking your belt a little bit. No belts on this thing, right? Just the little electric motors. And we mowed all of this. Look at all this. Mowed all of this. That area over there. This whole area here on one charge. So if I would have 2 more batteries, I could have gotten all of this done. The smaller spaces, there's a little nook or cranny over there. There's a little nook over there. I could have got it all done if I would have had 6 batteries. So that would have given me, what, 30% more run time? So another half hour? Yeah, almost 2 hours of mow time. So that would cover a little over 2 acres. I mean, that's really impressive, actually. I'm going to give this thing a full charge and overnight, and then mow tomorrow with the blades going full speed to see if it bogs down less and how much mow time you get at full speed. What a beautiful day it's been today. This is the first sunny day we've had in like 3 months. It's just gorgeous out here. All right, we'll see y'all in the morning when it's going to be cloudy and rainy again. All right, well, it's good to see that the weather's back to being cloudy and slightly rainy, you know. Too much sun's just bad for you. Let's get this thing out of the barn and do mow part 2 here. Okay, that was a significant difference. At the highest blade speed 3, the mower bogged down way less, and we still got 50 minutes of runtime out here in this grass. Didn't bog down nearly as much. It felt like a regular gas mower at that high blade speed. I could still bog it down if I wanted to, but it was way better. So yeah, that high blade speed's definitely the way to go if we're running through rougher material. Okay, this video's gone long enough. Let's wrap it up. Okay, so I'm all finished up with mowing over the weekend. How did this thing do? I was actually pleasantly surprised with it. I've used some other battery mowers and was not impressed with them. This thing is really great for what it is. Let's start with the negatives though. So the negatives are that it's a little slow. Now this isn't necessarily a negative for me, but for many people it would be. There's 3 speed settings, high, medium, and low. You can mow on medium or low, so 5 miles an hour or 3 miles an hour. At the high setting, 7 miles an hour, you cannot mow. The blades won't kick in. I thought this at first was because they wanted it so you maintain battery life, but I think the reality is that the blades just can't keep up at those higher speeds. For me, on this property, with thick, wet, heavy grass, I really couldn't mow on anything faster than the slowest speed setting reliably. So I couldn't run at the high speed setting and mow anyway. The medium I could probably get away with on a nice summer day, but the low speed was perfect for me with how these blades will cut. And frankly, for this property anyway, I have to stay on low speed because it's so bumpy and lumpy, but it is a little bit slow. Battery life is always a concern with these machines, and of course that was a bummer. When I ran out of batteries, I just had to put the thing back in and recharge them. You can't just pour some gasoline in. That being said, again, a person could plug this thing in for 30 minutes, go inside, make a sandwich, come back outside and mow again. So it wasn't a detriment, but it was something to think about. You would have to buy more batteries if you wanted to just keep this thing going in continuous operation. That's something to think about. Comfort-wise, not too bad of a mower really, but the front end, there's a suspension patent pending on this, which I felt like did nothing. So I don't know why I think that's a negative, but it looked like a cool idea and it just didn't seem to work. So I'll call that a negative. I guess what the biggest negative for me on this mower was that the blade speed is this thing's Achilles heel. We know that with battery mowers, they're just not as powerful as gas mowers in most cases. You get into a big commercial unit for 30 grand, I'm sure the blades will go through anything. But you can only get so much speed to these blades and so much power to these blades. And so it would bog down from time to time. Normally when it bogged down, it would be on a molehill or a pile of sticks, which a gas mower would kind of just power through and maybe smoke the belt a little bit. These ones don't have any belts. They just have 2 motors spinning the blades. So once it found that there was resistance to the blade, it would just shut the blades off, which is good. It's, you know, keeping the thing from damaging itself. But I did find that I had to really be careful not to bog it down. Again, out here where it's kind of rough and a lot of gross terrain. So for people with nicer lawns, I don't think that would be a problem. And then handling wise, there's a slight delay at top speed on your handling when you're going forward full speed and then go to reverse full speed or try to stop. The wheels would continue to spin forward for a split second. At lower speeds, I didn't notice that, but at top speed, you couldn't do like a fast evasive stop. It wouldn't let you do that. So those are my negatives for the machine. My positives, where this thing is built exactly like a gas mower. The deck is heavy duty, the body's heavy duty. Everything about this is a gas mower just with a battery setup put into it. I liked that. I did like that there's no belts on it. I felt this thing handled very well. Even though there was a bit of a delay on my handling at top speed, overall the handling was very reliable. I could predict what I was doing easy, and it wasn't jerky like some zero turns will jerk you. And that is something I've hated about other battery zero turns, is that when you ask it to do a function, there's a slight delay, or a jerk when it goes to that function. I did not experience that with this machine. I felt overall the handling was incredible. In fact, it handled a little better than my gas machine in mud. And I think that's because the wheel motors, there's individual wheel motors on each wheel, wouldn't break free as fast or get a whole bunch of power to them as fast. So I was running this at the lowest power or at the lowest speed when I was mowing. And so when I'd run into some mud, instead of that wheel spinning faster and faster and faster out of control because it had 25 horsepower connected right to it from the engine, this thing was limited on its speed. It was already going its top speed, so that wheel just kept on going. So it wasn't breaking traction. That was a real benefit I didn't expect. This thing was easy to rescue when it was stuck in the mud. I could rock it back and forth and get it out without worrying about this thing getting itself dug in deeper. I was really, really surprised by that. I can't say that enough. On hills, this thing performed very well. Of course, zero turns, we don't like to put them on hills. We don't like to put any mowers on hills, but I've got hills around here they have to go on. This thing felt very confident and competent on hills. I didn't feel like I was going to tip over. I felt very safe and secure. Even though I do sit up a little taller in this than you do on some of the other bad boy zero turns. It didn't feel top heavy or tipsy though. So hill holding felt really good and secure with this machine. As far as cutting time went, that's where I was shocked. So the first cutting time test I did, I had 100% battery, and I went at the lowest blade speed to try to conserve battery energy, and the lowest wheel speed because it's bumpy around here, I had to. I got an hour and 15 minutes of use out of this thing before it wouldn't mow anymore. When you get down to 5% battery, it cuts out the blades, cuts out the high speed, only allows you to go at slow speed, and you can travel quite a while. You could probably get around for about 20 minutes on that limp mode before it completely runs out of batteries. But an hour and 15 minutes of mow time, that was incredible to me. Now that's with 4 batteries. You can put 2 more batteries in this thing, and then you'll get more mow time. So you can mow for 2 hours on this thing at the lowest blade speed, which should be sufficient for most people. If you're mowing at that lowest blade speed, it cuts just fine. You just maybe can't cut through really thick, heavy matted grasses. Now at the highest blade speed, I did another test, and this thing still mowed for 50 minutes. That's incredible. So I was able to mow about 1.5 acres on the lowest blade speed, on the highest about 1 acre. So a person with 1.5 acres or less would be just fine. A person with 1 acre would certainly be fine. And if you bought 2 more batteries, I think a person with 2 acres could mow successfully on 1 charge. And the charging time was another plus for me. I thought this thing would take forever to charge. It took about 1 hour and 45 minutes to charge from 0 to full. That's impressive. Now, something people would see as a downfall for a battery machine is that, once your batteries are dead, you just got to recharge them. That's true. You can't just go get your gas tank and refill your batteries. But you could take this thing inside, plug it in, put 30 minutes of charge on it, and then go out and finish your mowing. In addition, this has a modular battery system, so it has individual batteries in it. So if you bought the battery stuff that Bad Boy makes, and technically they don't make it, I believe it's made by Greenworks. The batteries are also a Greenworks battery. But you could grab one of the battery tools, do your line trimming with the battery that's in the mower, and then plug the mower in for the night, charge all of your batteries back up to 6 batteries, and then have all your hand tool batteries ready to go the next day. The batteries in here are big. They're 8 amp hour. They're little monsters. They're pretty heavy. So you might not want to use them in your hand tools, but it is an option. So I did like having a modular battery system where you can swap batteries between tools. So would I buy this? If I had under 2 acres to mow, I would absolutely buy this mower, without question. I'm surprised by that answer. If I had more than that, I would not. And we do have more than that. We have to mow about 4 acres. So I don't see the sense in mowing, plug it in for a couple hours, going out and mowing again. For us, it doesn't make sense. As the batteries get better, as the technology gets better, I see it being a possibility. I would have some concerns because we get a lot of rough areas to mow out here, a lot of molehills to mow over, sticks, you know, rocks, all sorts of stuff. I would wonder at how long the wheel or the blade motors would last, but only time will tell on that, which is something to consider on a battery-powered machine. I have experience with some Cub Cadet battery power machines, and frankly, they were not good. They weren't reliable. They didn't hold up well at all. People were having them go down left and right. I'm hoping that this technology is better than the technology they were using in those, and that hopefully they are easier to work on and repair, because we weren't able to repair them as a dealer, even though we sell them. We would talk to tech support, they had no idea what to do. We had brains frying, motherboards frying. We got some that just never got fixed after a couple of years. They just didn't get fixed. The customers just either got them bought back or just walked away from them. So that is a concern with these technologies. You know, you can't just take out a carburetor and fix it. It's very expensive technology right now to repair. So something to consider for sure. But overall, from what I'm seeing right now, this thing's a buy. It is not built lighter duty than a regular gas mower, and it does all the mowing we asked it to do out here. So that's my thoughts. Have you used one of these? Have you tried one? Let me know. If you haven't and you think they're terrible, you can let me know too. But I'm here to tell you, my mind has been changed on battery mowers to this point. I think a lot of people would benefit from this machine. All right, we'll see you.